Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Omar Khan warns of fake news when asked about Steelers' interest in Matthew Stafford. The Matthew Stafford connection with the Pittsburgh Steelers heated up suddenly on Monday, with GM Omar Khan addressing it yesterday. He didn't offer much, predictably, at least beyond issuing a warning. Reports indicated the Steelers had shown interest in Stafford, who has permission from the Rams to explore his market. I'm not gonna comment on specific players or things that are out there. One thing I've learned is that there's a lot of fake news out there, Khan said at the podium at the NFL Scouting Combine when addressing rumors of the Steelers' interest in Stafford. That's just part of what we do, but there's a lot of fake news out there. But I'll say that all options are on the table until we address our quarterback position. It is silly season, after all, where we are likely to hear simultaneous contradictory reports on a regular basis. The Steelers love both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, apparently, and are also likely to sign an outside quarterback. Why not let that quarterback be Matthew Stafford? After all, around this time a year ago, Khan declared full faith in Kenny Pickett. A few weeks later they had Russell Wilson. Now that the Steelers have full faith in Wilson and Justin Fields, why not Stafford? The difference, or one of them, is that the Rams aren't actively shopping him. But since the Steelers don't have anybody under contract right now, they can't slam the Stafford door shut, especially publicly. After all, why would you want to tell the representatives of Wilson and Fields that it's just a two-horse race? Why not say if you're not willing to sign for X, we can find someone better and go all in? We don't have one of our guys under contract, so I owe it to everyone to keep all options on the table, Khan told our Joe Clark when asked about whether the Steelers had contacted the camp of Matthew Stafford during his address with local media. I'm not gonna say that that's accurate or not, but all options are on the table. For what it's worth, Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette reported that the Steelers had not spoken with Stafford. At least, he is not aware of them having communicated with Stafford's camp. Maybe they haven't yet, or maybe they have talked with the Rams instead. Or maybe they haven't done anything at all and nothing means anything anymore. T. Higgins appears to call cap on Bengals' public commitment to re-signing him. The Cincinnati Bengals have made clear this week their intent to re-sign T. Higgins and keep the band together. But Higgins has already been down this road, and has watched others take it as well. After the organization's latest public showing of intent, the pending free agent seemed to take issue. On Tuesday, Bengals Director of Player Personnel Duke Tobin addressed T. Higgins' status, among other key players. "We want them signed," he said, acknowledging that it won't be easy to pull off. "Are we up to it?" "We are up to it. We've done a lot of these things." On Tuesday night, Higgins posted a single cryptic character on his X account, a baseball cap. The emoji has become a universal symbol of cap, which is a lie or untruth. And basically everybody is interpreting Higgins' message to mean he isn't buying what the Bengals are selling. The Bengals drafted T. Higgins 33rd overall in the 2020 NFL Draft, the same year as Joe Burrow. The quarterback has been an outspoken advocate for his 5-year teammate, putting public pressure on the organization to put their money where their mouth is. Higgins played the 2024 season under the franchise tag, having one of his best seasons despite injury. He posted a career-high 10 touchdowns, made all the more impressive by Ja'Marr Chase's feats. While Chase led the NFL in receptions, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns, the Bengals still got production from Higgins. "I think T. Higgins is a fantastic football player, and I want him on my football team," Tobin said. "Whenever I'm in charge of a football team, I want T. Higgins, so I'm going to do what I can to get T. Higgins. Our preference with T. Higgins is to do a long-term agreement. Always has been, and it continues to be, and we'll work hard to get that done." The Bengals absolutely signed T. Higgins to a long-term deal while also achieving their other major goals. They are preparing to make Chase the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. They would also like to extend Trey Hendrickson, who once again hinted at a trade request. But Higgins seems to be the lowest priority. And he has seen how this can play out. He watched former Bengals teammate Jesse Bates go through it a couple years ago, and he saw that Bates ultimately had to make his money elsewhere. Higgins would be the top wide receiver on the market, so he wouldn't be cheap for Cincinnati. While I'm sure Higgins' preference is to remain with the Bengals, he also doesn't want to shortchange himself. Could the Bengals be trying to play the media to curry favor and portray themselves as the good guys? The last time they negotiated with Higgins, they severely lowballed him. Putting out the narrative that they want to keep him shifts the onus on Higgins if he is unwilling to accept a sincere offer. Steelers QB target might be available after all. The Pittsburgh Steelers are still weighing their options under center for 2025. After a season of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, General Manager Omar Khan was not impressed with either one, and it's unlikely that either one will return. With veteran options expected to be available in free agency, the Steelers will undoubtedly wait to see what those options are. One name that has been linked to the team is Sam Darnold, who played well for the Minnesota Vikings last season while rookie J.J. McCarthy was recovering from a torn ACL suffered in camp. With McCarthy potentially ready to debut next season, the Vikings and general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah are trying to decide if they want Darnold back. "Every option is afforded to us," Adofo-Mensah said. "When we did the move originally, we wanted to create optionality. And part of the optionality was believing and betting on a guy who was young, talented, believing in our infrastructure to be able to do the things we can do with the quarterbacks. So, we're now in a position where we have options. And we'll continue to work those options, figure out the best way for the Vikings to move forward." Darnold is just 27 and had his best year as a pro under coach Kevin O'Connell, completing 66.2% of his passes for 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions as the Vikings went 14-3. O'Connell enjoyed being a part of Darnold's season, and knows he can be just as successful elsewhere. "I've had great dialogue with Sam from the time the season ended up until very, very recently," O'Connell said. "I think my relationship with Sam has grown to a point where the respect level is sky high. This process is going to play out both short-term and long-term for the Minnesota Vikings. And Sam is in a position where the NFL thinks he can play quarterback at a high level. And you, fan? What do you think of Sam Darnold's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.